Right, we've done the UFO bit with the money. I think I've done, there's another video with money in it as well. I'm not sure whether it's XTV or not, but this is the version 2. And so what I've done is I've collated, we've sent out to probably 500 people within Project X, what would disappear if money disappeared. And of course they're all bad things that would disappear, no good things at all. So I've collated them all, and I'm going to go through them and say how the Centre of Excellence system, which is the alternative, which is what they don't want you to know about. In fact, like I said, when my dad did the government committee, they have little sidelines in Parliament where they do small projects, and one of the ministers wanted a money-free. How would a money-free system work? And he set 4 of them onto it, and one of them was my dad. So, and anyway, they were shut up pretty early on. They gave their preliminary findings to the minister, and he said, "This is great, but we can't possibly do this because we're all rich, and if this suddenly got implemented overnight, we'd be the same as everybody else." And then they go on to say about all their hard work and all this, but you know. So well, anyway, we've gone. We don't really care. We're going to tell you anyway. So so right, I'm going to go through this slowly. There's quite a bit of it, so be prepared. Right, what disappears if there was no money? Obviously, everyone said no banks. Now immediately you think, what about all those poor people with jobs in the bank? Centre of Excellence system heads for 100% unemployment, UN unemployment, not 100% employment. See, the government like everybody employed because they haven't got to pay anything out and you're paying in. So that's why, and then they can virtually do what they like. We all know the voting system's rubbish because 5 years, they can do whatever they like in 5 years. And then you've got the choice between 2 parties. No one else is going to win. So you've got the choice between 2 parties. Maybe 3 if the other 2 really upset the public. Which all of them are doing anyway. You know, basically what's happened is, with money, which I'll go through in a minute anyway, the rich finance the mortgages, the equity release, all the credit cards, through the central bank. They get the elite people to invest, which is not many of them, 1% or whatever, and then they give the money to us and get interest. So the people sitting there doing nothing, who gave the money, are getting the interest, and the money is slowly, interest and everything is being sucked out of the economy. So there's nothing. And now with coronavirus and food shortages and the energy, you know, which I haven't had trouble getting any food yet, but it's supposed to exist, I don't know. Anyway, no banks. So those people who were there can then go on to do good things for the planet, or sit and do in the Centre of Excellence system. They're allowed to sit at home and do nothing. They're actually allowed to do that. It's only when, and they get the food, the accommodation, the transport, the mobile device, and access to gaming, music, video, all the usual things you'd get on your mobile are free. That's the Centre of Excellence system. So you don't have to do anything. But if you do something for the planet, i.e. go to your normal job, which you're trained for. You can't just go into a job in the centre of excellence system. You've got to pass tests. At the end of your test, you get given all the best equipment. So there's no worrying about, oh, I have to buy Chinese stuff first. None of that. You know, you get Snap-on if you're a mechanic. You get a van because they're all free anyway. You know, don't cost anything. And the people who made those vans get a percentage higher to go into their centre of excellence. Everything we like, all the hobbies, everything is in the centres of excellence. If there isn't one, and you've got a hobby that isn't covered, then you go and build it. You put on your mobile, I want to build this centre of excellence. Somebody provides the building. Builders come if you haven't got one. Depends where it is, obviously. Anyway, that's very, very, very 1% of what it's about. So anyway, no banks. No hassle with banks. It means people won't be sitting there fiddling on their accounts and worrying how they're going to pay this interest and how they're going to pay that. There'll be none of that. The time will then be yours to do what you want to do. Nobody wants to sit on a computer at home. Then it uses electricity. You know, money. Going overdrawn, no interest. Nothing, none of that. Right, insurance. You pay a bit into a fund. If you crash your car or your house burns down, they pay you out. 9 times out of 10, they got somebody who's paid to come and denounce everything, so that you either don't get paid or only get half of what you were going to get. So they're all wasting their time too. Insurance people are wasting their time. So anyway, there won't be any insurance because there's no money. You have a crash, you put on here, you know, you obviously ring the ambulance if there's some sort of fatality, but you actually just say, I want a new car. And the people who turn up with a new car or the car to send you off, or the tow truck, you don't pay them. They get to go to their centre of excellence. They want to do the best job because on the mobile they're going to ask you, how did he do? A bit like the courier companies and everything. And you say, yes, he did a very good job. Then he gets a percentage closer. Now the reason why I say percentage is because that's not money, because it's fluid. £1 in this world is £1, no more, no less. So what happens is, when I can think of it, if all the tow truck jobs are done on a Friday night, they all go to 100%. So they can all go away for the weekend. It's no, oh, I must get the jobs in. You know, if one job comes in Friday afternoon, everyone's going to jump on that and get it done so they can go away on Saturday morning or whatever. But the centre of excellence, in our system where we've got 5 days work and supposed to have 5 days work and 2 days off, 1 day used to be for shopping and 1 day used to be for church. But that's all gone by the board now. But yeah, you will go away on a Friday night, spend 2 days in your centre of excellence and come back on a Monday morning. The transport system is free, which is, like I said, in the UFO section, is underground. High-speed tunnels, 2,000 miles an hour. So, you know, you'll be able to leave the centre of excellence Monday morning and be at work on time, if necessary, you know. Right, no insurances. Mortgages. Then now there's one for you. In the 70s, near enough, everyone owned their own house. You got handed it down, you know. Then we got greedy and we thought, I want my house a bit earlier. So the banks, again, lend you money. That's borrowed off the central bank, which is borrowed off investors who sit there and do nothing and just take in the interest. The elite. But they're gradually, obviously the more money you've got, the more money you can invest, the more money you pull in. Well, that's all got to go somewhere. You know, it's not now in the economy. It's gone. Then what they do is build an office block and rent it. More money coming in. Okay, the builders had a bit of a field day, you know, when they were building it, but after that, nothing. Maintenance maybe, you know, it's not half as much as what they get. So gradually, money is being sucked out of our system. No loans. There we go. You see, that's another thing. The investors all thought, and the banks all thought, wait a minute, you know, we're not getting enough money in here with the mortgages and the interest and everything. We've got to do something else. So loans and payday loans, 2, 3, 4,000%. You know, okay, it's convenient, you know, but if it wasn't there, you wouldn't need it in the first place. If you had a centre of excellence system, there's no money, you wouldn't need it in the first place. So there's your loans bit. Trouble getting them. You know, if you've got a bad credit rating, you starve to death. Or whatever, at the very worst. Loans. Equity release. There's a nice new thing. You know, a long time ago, mortgages came into effect. A lot of people bought their houses over 25 years. That's now lapsed. So all those people now own their own houses. Okay, there might be more houses being built, more people. It might still be going up. But they've noticed that it's sort of tailoring off a bit. But what can we do next? So they've done equity release. That's where they give you money up front. You don't pay any of that. You don't pay it off at all. The interest gets added on. When you die, the whole lot gets paid off when they sell your house, including the interest. It goes up £4,000 a year on say 100,000. So, you know, again, 6%. That's 12 times over the current interest rate. So they're making it, make. And that all goes to them. As soon as your house sells, they get 200,000 or whatever. Easy money. Sit there and do nothing. Payday loan sharks, yeah. That will all be gone. No payday loans, nobody getting into trouble. Courts will be freed up immensely with no money. Nearly everything, every court problem is either about money or some sort of love thing. So there you go. No money problems when somebody dies. There goes another one. Just happened to me. First thing was, the undertaker wanted £2,000. Now, when my mother died, the gravestone man wants 3,000. Now, if she had had a house to sell, the government would want its cut. You know, as soon as somebody dies, make. That shouldn't happen. You know, one person gets an amazing funeral, and another person gets buried in a cardboard box with one person saying goodbye. You know, that's not right. Some in other parts of the world, remember, centre of excellence system is worldwide. Not affected by countries. Well, countries will just be not even a border. You know, the border will be there, and the country will still be called what it's called. But you'll just better walk straight over it. Because if you think about it, we keep our borders because we have to protect our resources. We have to stop economic migrants coming, which hasn't worked. It still happened. You know, so all that money problem will be gone. So therefore, you don't need the borders. Well, the borders will still be there. You'll still be whoever you are. You would have still come from there, but you are now allowed all over the world. Right? No value engineering. Now, value engineering was a term coined by the British Army. When somebody wanted to buy, in the arms deal, a particular tank, they were offered a value engineered version. In other words, it didn't have all the goodies on it that the British Army one had. The one I can think of is the Abbott self-propelled gun. We had nice sights and all sorts. The Indians got the value engineered version. So value engineering, basically, how I would look at it is Chinese really cheap one, then there's a lot in between, then there's the snap-on, the good stuff. Okay, the stuff you'd buy in Harrods. Now what happens is, with this system, no value engineering. Everyone buys the best one. This lot go out of, I won't say out of business because there's no money. They try to make a better one than this one then. So all their research departments will say, right, give us one of them, let's see if we can improve on it. So the top one keeps getting improved all the time. It's not somebody making something quickly to get money. That all goes out the window. Value engineering. Yeah, you always get the best of everything. When you pass a test in something, I always use plumber. If you're a plumber, you get a van, you get all the best tools. All the tools you were taught to use in the course and at the Plumbing Centre of Excellence, you drive away with that. Okay? If you suddenly decide, well, I don't want to do this job anymore, no point keeping the tools and the van. That goes back for the next person. Gets completely refurbished and goes to the next person. Whereas, if you suddenly wanted to be a plumber again, you just go to the Centre of Excellence, whip through the course, make sure there's not been any updates. In your van, there'll be all the best stuff. And you'll want to do the best job, because the thing is, you don't want to go back again and redo something you've already done. And you want the person on their mobile to say, yes, I did a good job. Then you get percentage going to your Centre of Excellence, higher. On the other hand, you can retire that night and say, right, I'm going to have a day off. Have a day off. And then reinstate yourself the next day. You know, there's no, oh, I must go to work. Oh, there's big jobs piling up. You just look at the mobile and say, right, I'll do that. Click. You're then allocated that job and you go there. Your mobile tells you where to go, you know, tells you who it is, tells you what to take for the job. That's if, you know, you've got too much stuff to put in a van, which won't happen because the van will be specially built and specially equipped. Anyway, right, here we go. Swiss banks, offshore accounts. At the moment, pretty much every politician has got some sort of offshore account to put his backhanders in. Which is why one of the things is charities. And foreign aid, there's a good one. Foreign aid, oh, give 100,000 to some African despot, he'll give you 20 grand back. But it won't come back to your British account, it'll go into your Swiss bank or your offshore account. Backhanders. You know, that's why they go there and agree these things. Wouldn't just give money, would they? There's a reason. That's why it's still going when the economy hasn't got any money. They're still giving away aid because they rely, or don't rely on it, but they want to get that 20 grand. So yeah, all the Swiss banks, apparently, God knows how many millions of pounds, they won't say, but a lot of accounts in Switzerland haven't been touched since the Second World War. Obviously the people have died. Nobody knows how much the Swiss won't say. But they're living a life of Riley on all this money. Either interest-wise or giving it out for loans, giving it out for mortgages. It's not theirs, you know, but everyone's still piling money into their Swiss accounts. Because they're numbered and they're not named. So nobody knows whose is what. That'll all go out the window. Yeah, the offshore accounts, Panama and all that, gone. No money. Phone scams. What are they going to scam? No point ringing you up. You haven't got any money. You know, if they want something, they've got to go and earn it properly, and then go to their Centre of Excellence. There's no getting anything free, except the basic life things that you need: somewhere to live, free transport, a free mobile, free food. Probably when you're young, takeaways. Then if you want to cook something, you say, I want a kitchen. Kitchen men turn up, build you a kitchen. That's after you've gone to the Centre of Excellence and learnt how to use it. So there's no fires or anything. And after you've gone to cooking, we don't want to waste any food. We won't be able to do that in the future anyway. You won't be able to waste any resources or food. You won't be able to buy a loaf of bread and think, oh, I'll give that to the ducks. You know, what you do is say, I want duck food. That turns up and you give that to the ducks, proper stuff. Because bread, as we all know, doesn't do them any good. So, that's that. Phone scams. Yeah, there won't be any. Nothing to scam. Never enough money. Who has got enough money? Very, very few of us. So, that, puff, puff of smoke, gone. Doesn't matter. You don't even have to think about it. Money, not enough money. Money doesn't exist, so you can't not have enough of it. Modern slavery. Modern slavery. People buy slaves still. Now all this Black Lives Matter and everything, I mean, that's all well and good, but they started it, number one, and they kept it going in America, black people, and it was all to do with money. You bought and sold slaves. All to do with money. That all disappears. Slavery still goes on, mainly kids now. You know, you can buy a kid to work in your house, and generally they're of foreign descent, these people who get them in, and then they abuse them. So, modern slavery. Consumer research. Only necessary to improve products, isn't it? All those people working in there, that goes. Mind you, if you're a company that makes an inferior product, but you've got an R&D department, you stop making your product and you say, right, grab the top product, bring that back to your lab, because remember, copyright and all that goes out the window because there's no money. Bring that back, make the thing better, find ways of making it better, then share it with all the other people trying to make that product better. If you've got a toaster, we all know that toasters pack up after a while. Well, what will happen in this system is, because we can't waste resources, when your toaster packs up, you send it back and they send you another one. That one then doesn't go to a waste site, it gets broken down back into its components, completely refurbished and sent back. And what they don't want to do, they don't want to throw anything away. So the elements will be made much better, they won't burn out after a couple of years or so, which is what they rely on for you to buy another toaster. Remember, if we all had good toasters, the toaster company goes bust, because nobody's toaster's messing up. But in this case, they'll be kept going by refurbishing all the other toasters if there's nothing. Now, because there's no money, that factory, there's suddenly nothing to do and no toasters to refurbish. They can either carry on research, they don't go under because there's no rates, there's no government tax to try and keep the building going. The only thing that happens is the people don't get to go to their centre of excellence because they've got food and accommodation and everything. They're not bothered, they're going to sit at home for a while or take a course in something else. You know, you don't have to stick to one job. So that's that. Consumer research. Backhanders. Consultation fees, they call it in the government. Right? Somebody rings you up and they say, what do you think about this electronic product? Well, I'm not telling you until you give me a consultation fee. In other words, the company has to bribe them to say it's good. It's bribery. There's no way about it. So backhanders, consultation fees, no more influence. All out the window completely. If you're making, say, a record player, there's me talking old times, I mean record players are back, and somebody says, how did you do that? Can I improve on it? Instead of saying, no, it's mine, you know, you'll go, yeah, go on, have one. Tell us what you do. Then we'll put it on ours. And then you'll all get together and say, oh yeah, that tone arm, that moves across a bit better, yeah. Thank you very much. They all share it. Okay? Party donor payments, somebody put. Right, what happens is, businessman wants to build office blocks in a particular area, so he says to the, say, Conservative MP, if I give this huge donor, in the background, without anybody listening, if I give this huge donation to the Conservative Party for the next election, will you see to it, or influence, me building an office block where that lovely church was? That's what happens. That's what happens. So, yeah, they give them, the rich people give them the money into the donation pot, and they get to build their office block. That won't happen anymore because there isn't any money. If he wants to build an office block, he says on his mobile, I want an office block. Now, it won't be an office block anymore because the land above is pretty much used up and we need it for trees and stuff, you'll find, and greenery. It's much better to walk around looking at greenery as to look at office blocks. So they'll be underground. Now, as you see in London, people extending their houses are now going underground and it's costing an absolute fortune. But if you had a mobile with no money and said, I want a room under my house, builders come and do it. There's no messing around. You know, they're there because it might stop them going to their centre of excellence even, if they don't do, you know, what you've said. So that happens. If you see a cracked pavement slab, you go, cracked pavement slab, just here. It's got your coordinates anyway because the GPS is built into the phone, and somebody turns up, takes up that pavement slab, puts another one down. That's not happening. No improvements get done unless they've got money left over, or the next government amount comes to the council and they think, oh, we've got to be careful with this. We've been, you know, they've only given us this much this time. A lot of things go out the window. Right. Adoption. Now, why do kids get adopted? Okay, maybe the parents die. The mother might die of childbirth. Lots of unmarried mothers these days, remember? Which again, unmarried mothers, they'll be fine. They won't have to rely on anything, any handouts, because they're getting their free food and the baby gets it too. Which is where adoption won't become necessary. In the old days, you know, we've been watching this program where they're finding their adoptive parents. They're not supposed to, but they have to go through an intermediary and all this. In other words, somebody gives a backhander, and they find their person. The person always says, "Oh, I didn't want to give you up. Oh, I just couldn't. There's no money. I didn't have anywhere to live." Well, all that with the money system gone is out the window. Nothing. The only people that the kids that will be adopted will be the ones where the parents have died, and then you might think the grandparent or the auntie of somebody. Oh, we can't look after it, so we haven't got any money, the house isn't big enough. I want a bigger house, free food for the kid. All comes. No messing about. No thinking, oh, I can't afford it. Money's gone. Right. Health. Healthcare available for all. All drugs available. No killing for economic reasons. Yeah. This is the hard one because, you know, I've been in a situation in the NHS with my mum where they said, well, we could work on the cancer, but she's old and it would cost 120,000 and she might die. Is it worth it? So there's a big toss-up now because of money. You know, the Centre of Excellence system, they'd all be in there. She'd go to the Cancer Centre of Excellence and be sorted in hardly any time at all. You know, right. So health, drugs. Oh, NHS, can't give you that drug, it costs too much. All out the window, gone. And research. Oh, we have to, cancer research is done on donations. What's that about? We should be working on that. Everybody in. You know, anybody who works on it, in my system, gets to go to their Centre of Excellence. So health. Abortion. This is from another source, hang Abortion, yeah, again,